Okay, folks, happy Monday. Or is that really the case? Unfortunately, I got this mess I got to deal with here. It's clean, but it's we're going to do some painting, so we don't want to mess up our good-looking cardboard because it's distracting. So we did some painting yesterday, and I move this stuff out of the way, and had good things that happened yesterday and bad things that happened yesterday. Of course, bad stuff's just not that big of a deal, but it's disappointing. Disappointing. Good stuff and disappointing stuff. I took a bunch of stuff out there. I took 4 vehicles out there to airbrush. The Ferdinand, after we modified the Ferdinand into all the little bits to backdate this to a Ferdinand proper. And the Tiger 1. And the Panther and the other Tiger 1. And the other Tiger 1, what did I do with it? I go to prime this thing. This is probably the last rescue I'm going to do. This is literally something that somebody gave me that was somebody's kids or whatever. I go to spray paint this Tiger, which had quite a bit of paint on it, just to prime it. And then I realize that this guy has put the mantlet upside down. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to remove this. I don't know that I'm going to be able to remove it to fix this mantlet. Because he's got like super thick glue on there. I thought I could probably paint it with just on air, so I may have to give up on this Tiger. But it was a free Tiger, but it was like, man, I could like fix this up now. So I was like bummed out. I was like spraying that, and I was like, oh man, that didn't turn out too well. And hey, here's your big cat. Here's your big elephant thing. So then I basically didn't finish this Tiger because of that. I got to flip this upside down. That, like I said, I didn't do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I don't know if I'm going to be able to change it out. We'll try it. We'll put some cement on there and see if we can't loosen that up. And if it doesn't work, well, then we'll just move on with it. Not a big deal. This is the Hasegawa Tiger. And I did figure out what units I wanted them to kind of be based on. And, oh, that little piece came off of paint. I'm probably never going to buy this Ammo MIG paint again. It does okay. I got it because it worked really well out of the airbrush, but I'm really not a fan of it. You can't hand paint it at all. And I'll show you in a second why you can't hand paint it. But this was painted with Ammo MIG overall, the Dunkelgelb, literally one shade. It actually looked great painting it just in the one shade. And then I put in, I believe it was reflective green for the green, because I was literally trying to match up some artwork that I saw for Kursk. And the green is like spot on according to illustration. And then I mix the brown is a mix of the rot brown and the chocolate brown. So it's a chocolate brown but a little bit more red in it. And this one is this is the olive green. This is the color that's supposed to be the green in it. It's always, I always find it too gray, but I actually wanted it to look this way because that's it. That way it's a gray green type color for the tiger one. But this is going to be both of these for Kurska. This is going to be 505th tank detachment. So we're doing stuff for the North, which is kind of ironic, but okay. You know, nobody really does that stuff. It just kind of gets forgotten. And then I decided to use a product that I'm not really familiar with. And I've used it on a couple occasions. It's a super cool product. I am not very good at mastering it yet. Of course, I've only used it twice. And this is this AK camouflage putty. It's this elastic type of, almost like, doesn't have a bad smell. It's almost like silly putty, but it's really elastic. And it works pretty cool in that you can spray over it and then put it back in, and it somehow the color stays in there, but it's reusable. I like things that are reusable. You know, when things aren't reusable, it makes me like not willing to take risks. Like, is this the one time you want to use this on? So I spray painted this panther. I specifically wanted it to be a late war. So there's actually a different colored Dunkelgelb that started getting introduced. It's much more beige. So we sprayed the panther overall on that. And then we used that stuff to mark off areas where the beige is going to stay. And then I sprayed brown. And that part was fine. And then I was like, man, I went about this all wrong. What I should have done is spray painted it. It was just difficult to kind of, I wasn't able to get the green where I wanted it to. So the colors are the correct colors I wanted. So I ended up having to hand paint the green. And it doesn't look like it actually looks kind of how I want it to look, including the colors. And I know it's like, man, that doesn't really look like a World War II thing. But they started doing stuff late in the war that looked like this. So this is actually this olive green. So when you see green on German tanks, this is the green they want you to. I mean, obviously it varies a little bit depending on what you mix it with. So I ended up hand painting the green, and it didn't apply worth a shit. It like started to like rub off and stuff, like this was covered in oil or something. I don't know. So I can do two things. I can rework it, or I can move forward with it. And I think I'm going to move forward with it because, but anyhow. But yes, this is supposed to be like a late 1945. I didn't know what I was going to do with the barrel, so I kind of left it black. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with that. I think I'm going to give this the wash like everything else, and it'll straighten itself out. But the brown came out great. I need to plan it away a little bit differently. I just kind of jumped in and didn't think about it. But I'm pretty certain with my fix-it abilities, I'll be able to get it back where I want it to be. But the colors, believe it or not, are actually the colors I wanted to. I specifically chose those colors. This is the standard brown, and this is the standard green that goes on the Dunkelgelb, even though it looks very gray. And this is so the coloration is correct. It's just the pattern is not maybe what I would have wanted, but because it's very difficult to see, like I had a vision and it didn't meet that vision. So anyhow, we'll get there. If not, we'll repaint the fucker. But what we need to do is we need to give this thing a wash. I'm not concerned because I don't remember the last time I painted something all the way through and I wasn't happy with the results. So I need to remember just no, you're not done yet, you know. Strong tone wash. Am I happy with the build results? Yes. This thing was amazing. I I added all kinds of shit to this thing. Change the. It's been like, oh man, I'm really happy, and then you walk away and you come back and like, fuck, this is something wrong with it. Like, I can't build an elephant out of this because the hatch is different on it. All right, well, let's let's cast a hatch because luckily I had that other one, so I cast that hatch, and then that turned out well. But it's just when you cast things, it's like you're not going to get done with that evening. It's gonna be a multiple day process because it's got to dry. So I'm behind schedule, but in doing that, I discovered, hey, there's a couple little things that are different on an elephant than on a Ferdinand than on a regular elephant. So backdating that. Yeah, what I really can't believe is when I went to hand paint this stuff, it was like thick. Even though it won't apply well, it was the weirdest. I hate this paint. I really hate this paint. I can't recommend it anymore. And I got it because it came in sets, but I'm not doing that shit anymore. I custom mixed these two colors to match the illustration. Not custom mixed, like I don't care what you tell me to use. I'm using this color, and freaking nailed the color right on the mark. But the Panther specifically was hard edge camouflage, and I wanted to do something different because everybody does ambush, and ambush is cool and all that, but I wanted to try something different, and it'll turn out fine. It'll be like that Green Panther. That'll be like, man, I never thought of a panther being green, but it looks pretty good. I said, yeah, I thought so too. Oh, this green is rubbing off. The green camouflage is rubbing off, and I let it sit there. Well, we can put it back on there. This is interesting. Mm. I may need to clear coat this before I do. Shit. More fucking challenges. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna kill somebody at work. Just balance everything out. Alright, let's see if we have the same issue here. If not. Yeah, I'm not going over it very heavily. Again, not a big deal. Just disappointing. Like, okay, I'd like to finish this. Oh, we're not going to tonight? Oh, okay. Fuck. Alright. I do this to not quit my job, not to hasten it. Oh man. I have a Brumbar. Yeah. Strong tone. It's strong tone isn't the problem, it's the paint. It's it's got too much of the magic formula in it, which not with not enough paint. So it's not grabbing. And it sat overnight, so it's not like you didn't let it sit long enough. Because I can be guilty of that. Not this time. I have a Brumbar in this scale. It's tiny. Well, I mean, it's a Panzer IV. Come on, move. Jesus. I guess it's not that tiny. I don't think I clear coated this thing. Maybe I did. It's still a little shiny. That's weird. Well, we may have to go back to figures to get some of this taste out of my mouth. Man, this was going really well, and all of a sudden it's just like going sideways. Yeah, we'll straighten it out. We're not going back to 15 millimeter medievals and shit. Yeah, I could probably get it to work. I just don't want the camouflage scheme to disappear because we're going to do a light dry brush of the base color over it. And I don't want that to, I don't want it to fade anymore. And it doesn't have to look exactly like the vehicle I based it on. It's not going to be the same vehicle. It's going to have different markings, but I mean, we need this to go well. I know this week is going to be a bitch at work. So, but anyways, their brushing kind of turned out pretty well. But it also takes an inordinate amount of time. All right, that looks good. Here's some stickum. Now we just need a lid to a Coke bottle. I mean, I should have tons of that. You could join me in the Italian Words Crusade. What a rabbit hole. It's too much to come up with rules. I'm not retired. I'm not. I mean, I love the Italian Wars, and the main reason I like the Italian Wars is my fucking people are there, and we're badasses during that period, for the next 100 years or so. You know, people want to play their people when they're. I mean, unless you don't like your people, when they're badasses. Like nobody plays. What's the shittiest part of Britain now? Nobody wants to play Britain now. You do like Victorian stuff or Napoleonic or that kind of shit. I don't know. Now's not the proudest time of the Royal Navy. I can tell you that much. Like you guys have like 4 ships or something. it's just too much to come up with rules and shit like that. You know, I was working on that. I was working on that right after Historicon. I'm like, all right, well, nobody's gonna play this DBA. I'm gonna start working on other rules that to modify DBA and give it more detail. Not to sell them or anything. I have no interest in that. That's too much. That's too much fucking work. That's the kind of work I'm not interested in doing. But I was already having World War II calling back to me. So okay. Now this little guy, Nazi turret. Well, that's not gonna work. Absolutely, now's the shittiest time. Yeah, I know. I feel for you, man. I didn't ask for it to be that way. Just so you know. It's ridiculous. You guys have a smaller navy than the fucking French. There's worse things to spend your money on. But I think we'll do. Let's grab the tiger by the tail here. What happens in World War II if Britain doesn't have a navy? The fucht, you know. Just a just kind of a thin coat over it, just to add some variety of color. I wasn't so sure the first time I did this a long time ago, and then I'm like, okay, well, I got this idea from. I'm pretty sure I got that from Sonic Sledgehammer. I was gonna paint some Shermans, and I'm like, how do you do them? And I watched one of his videos. I'm like, oh, well, that he made those little green guys look pretty interesting. And I just, oh mother, Jesus, I swear I'm gonna murder somebody at work. I'm not expecting to have all these little disappointments doing this hobby. That's why I do this hobby. If I'm gonna be disappointed, I might as well get paid for it. That's the rules. Everything goes right, or I get paid for it. Okay, I'm not really worried about the very tippy top end. It'll all work out just fine. I got hundreds of examples of things that I've painted that I'm happy with. So, and I can't think of one that didn't turn out well in the end. I'm sure if I think long enough, I'll be like, yeah, this could have been better, but I can't think of one. All right. Damn you, Ferdinand, Nazi fucker. Let's try it again on this side. I don't mind touching some of them up. Thank God that's a Vallejo paint to touch up and not Ammo Mig. I went from being Ammo Mig's biggest fan to fuck this shit. I'm not using this stuff again. Even though just go quick. I think I might just get away with it. Okay, are we done with this thing? Yeah, I have a fair amount of Italian War stuff painted. The problem is it's in DVA scale, so when you add it all up, it's not very much stuff. But I don't buy into the whole let's make generic pikemen so you can use them for everybody. I'm like, absolutely not. I don't want lens connect that I can use for Swiss, and no. They're different guys, and I certainly have the figures for them. It's just a matter of painting them. I've had a nightmare trying to find a certain cart I have in my stash. Took over 2 hours and lots of expletives to find the bastard thing. Yeah. Well, you know what's worse is, here's the difference, and I thought about this yesterday. If it's your own stuff that you're looking through, like your toys, right? I don't know if you're married or not, but you know that your significant other. Let's be inclusive. Your significant other. Move stuff. It creates a whole level of giving up, at least for me. So, for instance, if I go and I've done these, like I know I've got one of these whatevers, and I'm looking and I don't find it, I'm willing to give it another look because I know that it is something that nobody else messed with. But if it's something like a bucket, like I knew this bucket was here the other day, but it might be something that the wife may have moved. Not in being nefarious, but just in the fact that she moves, it's one of the stuff that's something that she can use. I give up real easy. I'm like, if I find, because I could be like, knowing that I left this in this area, but I wasn't the one that moved it, but I don't remember, but I don't know that somebody else moved it. So I'm like, if there's a chance of that happening, I just give up because you could be spending looking for this the whole time. And it's like, oh, I just moved it over there. I don't know if that makes any sense or if I explained that correctly, but I was looking for a bucket yesterday. And because it was something that, because I was doing something outside. And to, and I know it was something that she could have used. And as soon as it's not exactly where I found it, I just give up. Whereas I don't give up looking for my stuff that I may have in my stash for miniatures. Does that make sense? I give up real easy if other people could be involved in the in moving where it could be. You could be the best looker in the world, but if it's not there because somebody else moved it and you don't know that someone else moved it, you're wasting your freaking time. Whereas I was looking for something recently and I eventually found it because I found out where it wasn't. Like I knew where it wasn't going to be. The wire. That's what that wire to tie these tracks down with. I couldn't find it. Well, my dumbass self didn't necessarily put it in a bad place, but I didn't tell myself it was there. Oh, I didn't plug that little hole. Damn me to hell. thought it was Marcus's face because it's the same kind of color. Carla, welcome. So it's just one of those things that if I know that I'm the culprit, I'll keep looking for it. But if there could be somebody else involved in your household that may have moved something you're looking for, I just give up. I give up real easy. Especially if somebody gives me directions. It's there in this drawer. I look in that drawer, it's not there, I stop looking for it. And it ends up being in a different drawer. Had you not told me what drawer it was in, I might have kept looking. Wife is a nightmare for moving things that should never be where she puts them. There's Marcus. I just had to say, is that Marcus? No, I can't see the icon, and it looks like all fleshy colored. It's like a face, so it looked like Marcus. What's up, man? So I think I'm going to move forward with a panther, even though I'm not. It didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to. And it wasn't the color choice, because most people are going to look at it and go, yeah, you picked wrong fucking colors, dumbass. I'm like, no, that's the colors I wanted it to be. That's the colors it's inspired by. It's just not the right pattern because of the method that I used. Now, had I hand painted these colors, it would have been worse, because I don't think I'm going to hand paint anything with these colors ever again. I'll just mix the Vallejo colors and hand paint them, but this paint is a pain in the ass to deal with. And that's the Ammo MIG. Because it's so damn watery. And you figure, okay, well, it's watery, so add a lot of coats to it. Yeah, see, I'm going to have to add more green in there. But I'll do that after I dry brush this. Hopefully I don't dry brush all the damn color again off. Well, worst case scenario, I'll get another Ferdinand and make another Ferdinand, I guess. And clear coat it, and then do this. But for whatever reason, this is I don't feel like I did it that thin. Oh well. It's either Jeffrey or you, or this lady that showed up. I just happened to see, and it was like, oh, because I can't see at that distance. And Barnes is unique. He's up there as I see an all white icon. It's only him or a guy from Russia I haven't seen in a long time, an Ikaru or something like that. He's got an all white icon, or at least at this distance with the blurriness, it looks the same. I would always get him and Barnes mixed up. Okay, I don't believe we hit the front of this thing. So I gotta remember that, I have been disappointed when I've gotten to this stage before. Even the next stage. And then when we do the dry brushing, dry brushing is one of my strong points. Because again, you have this vision of what you think you kind of like what it's supposed to look like. And if it doesn't meet that, I, as the creator, am disappointed. Now, if it turns out better than what you think it's going to turn to, well, then you're invigorated. But I got to remember, I got to keep telling myself, listen, when's the last time you painted something that you hated how it turned out? I can't think of when that is. So the journey is knowing when to punt. Sticking with it. Now, I don't remember if I went over this or not. Oh, Christ. Ooh, Nelly. Okay. This will all work out. I gotta touch it up anyways because this area down here has got too much brown in it. So we'll come in here and dry brush some of this other color. Okay, I think we're good with Mr. Heffalump. All right, and now the Bloody Panther, which are the colors I wanted it to be. It's just I'm not keen on using this stuff again either because you have to do it backwards, so it's kind of hard to visualize things. And this is the side that I like the least actually, but I'm just gonna go with it. If not, I'll just repaint it. I need to remember, just it'll turn out just fine. And specifically this hard of an edge. So I figured, okay, if I'm going to do hard edge, I'll use the plastic putty, which was probably better than hand painting these colors. Let's see if these disappear. Yeah, there's like a fucking oil. There's like a fucking oil over this, over the buff color. Fucking weird. Just stick with it. It'll all be fine. Yeah, I kind of wanted to do this color. I saw some illustrations in it. And then they have a panther that was in a park, like in Belgium somewhere. And it had this kind of colors on it. I'm like, oh, that looks good. I mean, it looks different. You know, I want it to look different. I want it to look late war. You know, it's post Zimmerit. So I want it to look late war. It'll be just fine. And the question is, what color am I going to dry brush over it? Probably pale sand. Pale sand's probably really close to this color. How'd the hatches turn out? Which hashes? Oh, the replacement? Perfect. Oh, you weren't on here yesterday. Perfect. No, the build turned out great. I did these corner pieces. No, the build on the Ferdinand, that was invigorating. Like, I'm ready to do more conversions and shit. I mean, not just for the sake of doing them. Not like, let's buy this and, you know, and tinker with it. But, you know, some model that, like, lacks a little pizzazz. Probably the first time I've ever used that word before. And it's missing some obvious details. And it's something I can make out of sheet styrene. I will. Certain pizzazz. Sorry, looking better. But I did specifically want these colors. I did specifically want hard edges. And I'm not going to do ambush with it. Not because I don't like ambush. My original Panther was in ambush. This is more like an Art Nouveau. Some people would say this is like almost like the same colors that the British used in Berlin. The British occupational forces in Berlin used urban type of camouflage that had. It's not quite like this, but I think the green is similar. And this is olive green number 2. This is the green that they expect you to use on top of Dunkelgelb, and it's just too damn gray. So I mixed that one myself. And yeah, it's pretty green, but I wanted to match an illustration. It looked really awesome. Anybody use oil paints from model engine compartments? I'm not using oil. Well, actually, I painted this over all in oil paints apparently and didn't know it. No, these washes work just fine over. Yeah, it's like there's a wax coat on this. I've never seen this before. Anyhow, with my, what is it Jeffrey calls them? Tony's tones. Yeah, those work really well. I didn't paint the barrels. I thought about doing the barrel gray. Like those late war ones, they just didn't have the barrel painted all the way. I may do that, which means I just leave it like this. End up dry brushing over it a little bit, but I wanted something different. Looks a little Art Nouveau. I don't know, is that a thing? Trust the process. Some people do this wash like that doesn't look good. I said, well, you're not done yet, pal. It's not even close to being done with the process. You can't just leave it here and expect it to look good. For starters, it's glossy. That alone is just throwing your eye off. How are we on time? 6:15. I got to go to the doctor this morning to get my second round of shots. They talked me into getting a shingle shot, so, well, if I got one, I might as well get the other one. Not that I was worried about getting it or anything. Oh, and of course the hand sanitizer moved away. So I have no hand sanitizer here. You finally found one of my live streams. Yeah, I'm on British time, man. You should be able to make them. Unless you're employed, in which case you're kind of screwed because you're probably at work when I'm on them. Although I suspect you're one of those people that I'm jealous of called retirees. Yeah, so now these things just have to sit here and dry. And then we'll come in and dry brush over them. But it needs this brown color to kind of warm it up a little bit. So, did we kill this one? No. Yeah, we need to kill some of these half bottles. That one's not done yet. But yeah, I'm not happy with the Mo Mig at all, especially when I painted this color. It was thick. Like, why is this paint thick? In applying it, it's super thin. That and being on top of the whatever reason, for whatever reason, this the buff colored, the the late war Dunkelgelb, I think it's called AUG 44 or something like that. That's what the bottle says. You survive the employment years. There you go. For whatever reason, this didn't apply worth a shit. But it's got so much damn gray in it. But this is the color they want you to put over Dunkelgelb. Olive Grün option 2. But we followed our heart with this one. 'Cause that's what the illustration looked like, and that's what I liked. I don't know if it's realistic or not, but I like the illustration. So, anywho, all that airbrushing I did, and I still didn't seal these two buildings. This is probably the thing I'm the most proud of. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I was really concerned about the tile roof, and I didn't have to paint any individual tiles. It just kind of worked itself out. But I do need to seal this. That and this flimsy little bastard. Where's the other part of it? Here. Yeah, dry brushing is where probably I'd say my strongest skill is. You know, when it's like, okay, I want this, all this is all made out of the same material here, but I need to make this stand out more. Like, because when you get to this side here, like it's closed. This window's closed, and if you paint it all the same thing, it's like, does it open? Does it not open? You can't tell. Well, if you make it so that this part that's expanded up is faded more from the sun, then when it's closed, you can see that it has a little bit of a difference there. I don't want it to look like it's made out of a different material. I just want it to look like it's faded differently. And yeah, this took a lot of tinkering back and forth, and I probably spent more time painting this than anybody ever has. This particular model, they're just like, I just paint the thing brown and give it a wash, and a dry brush, and you're done with it. Like, nah, we spent a heck of a lot more time on it than that, but it looks pretty good. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, so we went and grabbed, that one's too wet. And probably this one's too wet too. The tiger might be, no, I can't dry brush it yet. We'll have to dry brush this over. This is the green that I ended up, actually, I don't know which one of the two that I used. I may have used the Luftwaffe one. I think I did use the Luftwaffe green as the green for the base of this one. So we're going to have to come in here and, and kind of half brush things over. I think I could probably do that. Let's get my, is this one good enough to use? Probably. All right. So we're going to come in here and we're going to rebuild this green that disappeared. And it's not going to look perfect, but remember, we're going to go over the whole thing with yellow. Oh, and you know what? This color is super watery. I wonder if that wasn't part of the, reason. This is one of these colors that I got because it was part of the main Vallejo colors, and I don't know that I've ever used it before. It's a nice green. I don't have any of my stuff here. Hand sanitizer, none of that. Do you like bolt action, or you just like it's a way to put figures on the table? So I always think of bolt action's like a good game for people that don't know like a lot about history. Which some people could probably say the same thing about DBA. Oh, you don't know shit about Roman legions, so you're just gonna make them all blades. I'm like, no, just a way for me to put stuff on the table. I would have preferred rules that had more flavor, more period-specific flavor. But okay, now we're a little bit more where we need to be. All right, so let's take most of this off, and this is where I said that you don't really need an airbrush. We just need to rebuild some of this color that disappeared when I wiped it off. So I want it to be kind of bold anyways, because when you go and do the next step, it's going to fade some of it. That's the whole point in doing the next step, is to fade this out. Yeah, this is going to do the trick. I'm actually going to go in and rebuild some of this. But this was actually one of my better airbrush jobs, even though the paint was a bit limp. Some on the back too. Oh. Here's a question. That part painted T-34s from the tractor factory, what color would the unpainted bits be? A red-brown undercoat, bland steel? I'm undecided. Well, Give me 24 hours and I give you an answer. I don't know. I don't know. I think that I don't know. If I had to pick right now, I'd make the bottom of it steel. I'd make the turret primered red and weather both. And it may look terrible. But when you paint something that's not painted well, you need to make sure that you make it look like you didn't do a bad job painting it. Or you have to explain everything. No, it's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to look this horrible, you know? If I would make one primered, yeah, I can't go over that. That's too wet. And you, I'd make one primered and I'd make one without any color on it, and I think it would look better with a primered turret and a no color. I remember when you have a no color tank, it's still going to have color to it. It's just going to be faded like crazy. But you better stop talking about that stuff, or I'm going to have to build one. But that's what I would think. Yeah, see, we rebuilt this good. The stuff that wiped off. You could do just about anything with dry brush. That you got to be make sure you're nearsighted also. That helps. But that's my initial thought. Um, like if you wanted to make it all primer red, if red was the color you wanted to do, you gotta add some details like black lining or something in there to make it pop up. It doesn't all look like one solid thing. Otherwise, it wouldn't look very good to me. It's all about contrast. I think the people that paint miniatures, and I'm not talking necessarily about myself, I think the people that paint miniatures do a better job than people that build scale models. Because people that build miniatures that I like, they put contrast in there. Even if it's unrealistic contrast, they build the contrast in there so that you can see it 3 feet away. A model might actually look realistic, but when you put it at wargaming distances from you, it doesn't look right. Go look at a real tank. They don't look as good as miniature tanks. The miniature tanks look better. The ones that are painted by miniatures painters. The miniature painters my tanks look better than a real tank. You put this next to the same elephant in real life. When I'm done with this will look better than the real elephant because I'm forcing all those details to have a line and pop out at you, and you could it makes your eyes salivate, so to speak, instead of just being like, it's all yellow, or something like that. It's okay. I think we got this about where it needs to be. This is kind of how I painted my first camouflages, that I did recently. And then when I do that other dry brush, it makes it look like it's airbrushed. So you don't need an airbrush. The only reason I use an airbrush is it supposedly saves time. Yeah, the jury's out on that. Yeah, and the secret to dry brushing is don't expect to get it done in one thing. Like, oh, it looks like ass. Well, you went too heavy. You need a slow build up. Well, it depends what you want. I mean, you might want it to be all slosh mud looking like. Like the whole winter camo thing. If you could do a crap job and paint something with winter camouflage, and that's exactly what a real one would look like. But you'd have to convince everybody who saw it, like, no, it's supposed to look like ass. So. Yeah, we gotta wait for this to fully dry. The tiger is probably, well, it'll all be done at the same time because that's what it is. But we're gonna take this this, which is the mid-war, and get it almost all out, and clean up all the edges and stuff like that on it. And then this isn't really, I wouldn't call this weathering. This is just fading. The grading is this color that was faded. Then you get into the weathering stuff after that. But this is just color modulation, whatever you want to call it. Now the Panther I'm gonna repaint it, or I'm gonna be really happy with it because it's funky. But it is the colors I wanted it to be. As hard as that is to believe, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop here because I literally can't work on any of this stuff. This color goes over these two. This one ends up getting the late war Dunkelgelb color, which is it's really pale sand color. I don't know why they changed it. They probably ran out of supplies or whatever. So, all right, folks. Thanks for stopping. Thanks for ideas. Thanks for painting it turnt green, perhaps the front also. Then red primer, rust a couple road wheels and steel. Yeah, I would stick to two colors. I wouldn't. You're on Facebook. I'll see what I can come up with and send you some. See if I can find some inspiration for you. That's the easy part. The hard part is doing the rest of the factory. Start ordering about a couple million bricks right now while you're at it.